You know your students' grades, but do you know your blood pressure? Today, I am not talking to the educator who is willing to stay ignorant to what their numbers are, the one who says that ignorance is bliss, the ones who say, I'm just going to try to get through this scathe through the school year as best as I can. I'm not going to worry about my numbers. The one who is guessing and just saying, I guess I'm healthy. I don't feel anything, right? I'm actually talking to the educator in today's episode who says, I am not willing to lose my health to the education system. With everything that's going on in the education system, you are extremely busy. Everything in the education system will require the use of your mind and your body, which means it requires you to look after you. The education system is not going to look after you the way that you can. So you have to make sure that you are putting yourself on the front of your mind and not on the back end of your mind. So one of the things that I've been talking about this week is something that might actually make some educators feel as though I'm being selfish. When I say you have to put yourself ahead of the education system, let me tell you, I am so serious about that because, again, the education system would not put you first. They're going to make sure the test scores are first, the achievement is happening first, that you have, a substitute in your class. If you can't be there, God forbid something happens to your health, right? There has been years where I have had colleagues who passed away, right? And what typically happens is what? If this has happened to you, what typically happens? We know that what typically happens there, they either take you to a room and let you know about it, or they might send out an email and say something happened. And then in the next email, there is the wake and the service, and where you can send flowers or money, and then everybody moves on. But before you can even get the flyer for the funeral, there's already a substitute who's in your classroom because that is a priority that the students are learning. And so it is necessary for you to make sure that you are putting yourself first, okay? Because again, the education system is not going to do it. They're not going to do it, okay? And so I want you to understand that what we are talking about today is you no longer guessing what you have to do. Okay, now if you are an educator who is cool with guessing, I want you to go ahead and scroll to the next video. I want you to not even stay here, okay? Because I'm talking to the ones who says, I'm no longer going to guess. I want to make sure that my health receives everything that it needs to make sure I thrive in this next school year and beyond. There is no need to wait, okay? We're not waiting until the heart attack, the stroke, the atherosclerosis. We're not waiting to have the heart stent. We're not waiting for those things. We are moving in a place of prevention to make sure that we can prevent as many things as possible, okay? When it comes to your heart health, your wellness, and your well-being, okay? Because again, as an educator, you're going to be super busy. So one of the things that is going to stand in the way of what you're trying to do this school year will be time. You may feel like, I'm so busy, I don't really have time to focus on my health. I want you to understand that when it comes to you as an educator, you focus on everything that you want to focus on. This school year, if you decide, well, I don't want to be single anymore, I'm ready to mingle. You're going to fit that into your schedule. You fit the kids into your schedule. You fit your own kids into your schedule. You fit the prom and you fit all the things into your schedule. Well, why, when it comes to you, you're not fitting yourself on your schedule? But you're expecting somebody else to do it. You're expecting everybody else to remember you, to focus on you, to have an understanding of you. But you cannot make sure that everybody else and want everybody else to make you a priority when you're not even making yourself the priority. You have to make yourself the priority. And so we're not guessing. I want you to know that in order to become a healthy educator, you have to become the priority in this season. And I know that you're ready. That's why you have made it this far into this video. So let's go ahead and talk about your experience. What has your experience been so far when it comes to your health? I want you to tell me in the comments below. Have you dealt with high blood pressure? Have you dealt with moments where you feel like you had headaches or migraines while you're at work? What has been your health in past seasons? I want you to share that below in the comments so we can talk about it. So I'll never forget in 2017, 2018, where I found out my blood pressure was through the roof. I was standing in the middle of my classroom during a planning period. I had no students and my heart starts beating crazy out of my chest. And the ceiling starts feeling like it's spinning out of control. And the next thing I know, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what's going on. So I said, okay, just breathe so you can calm down. But it didn't work. So then I started to panic, which made my heart beat even faster. And then my next thought was, I do not want to die in this classroom. So let me hurry up and make my way down to the clinic's office before something happens. Let me hurry up. So I'm racing down to the clinic office with my head feel like it's spinning and my heart beating out of my chest because I don't want to die inside of the school. I have seen many educators who have said that they have left the education system simply because their health couldn't take it anymore. Their health couldn't take it anymore. And maybe that is your reality. Has that ever been you where you felt like, I just don't know how much more my health can take while being here educating, right? And so that was my reality. And the fact that I even had to have that thought was what allowed my background in exercise science and kinesiology and healthcare and cardiac rehabilitation to kick in, where I said, no longer will this be my reality. I would not allow the education system to steal my health, to take my health. I would not lose my health to the education system. I have to make myself a priority. So a lot of times we are successful in fronts, right? And when the doors are open, but then behind closed doors, you may not be succeeding when it comes to your health. Your blood pressure is high. You feel the headaches. You feel the achy body. You're not eating as much as you want to. When you are eating something, you're grabbing a quick bag of chips because meetings are running over. You might not be drinking as much water as you want because you feel like you can't really go to the restroom when you desire to. And so the way that your health is being affected, a lot of times it is because of the way that the education system is set up. It is set up in a way where we have to have this urgency with everything that happens to student success, but then there's no urgency. There's more sacrifice when it comes to you, your health, your wellness, and your well-being. And so you got to be able to flip that for yourself. You cannot wait on the education system to say, well, make me a priority. It's not going to. You got to start making yourself the priority today. It has to start today. Okay. And so blood pressure is often called the silent killer because you cannot feel completely what's happening until it's too late, until you already had the stroke, until you already had the heart attack, until you already need the stent, until you already need the operation, the bypass, right? And so they crack your chest open and now you're like, okay, I now understand what's happening. But when you are moving into a place of prevention, a lot of times you don't have to worry about the silent killer. Now, is it 100% guaranteed if you're in a place of prevention? No, it is not. But can you help it? Absolutely. So the goal for you this week for the Healthy Educator movement, the goal this week isn't to lower your blood pressure. That's not the goal for this week. The goal is simply to know it. To know on average, what does your blood pressure typically look like? Okay. And so I want you to just simply check your blood pressure this week. That's it. Just check your blood pressure. Now, there are different places where you can go and check your blood pressure. You can go to a pharmacy. So if you've ever seen in like Walmart or Kroger or Publix, typically by the pharmacy, there is that blood pressure machine that you sit on. Even in Sam's Club, we have one in Sam's Club where you can sit at the machine and put your arm into the cuff, right? And then press the button and it'll take your blood pressure for you, okay? And it'll also tell you the readings about your blood pressure. But the thing is, you just need to know it this week, okay? So you can go to a pharmacy, doctor's office. Have you scheduled your appointment? Hello. Have you scheduled your appointment? If you have not scheduled your appointment, you need to make sure you are scheduling your appointment. The summertime, I know, is oftentimes the best time for you to get all of your appointments done, but also make sure you are using your paid time off. You're going to hear people say all the time, use your paid time off, use your paid time off. You know, but yeah, use your paid time off to also make sure that you are scheduling your doctor's appointments so that you can know your blood pressure. And side note, this isn't just for your blood pressure. Make sure you are scheduling your doctor's appointment for your mammogram, colonoscopy, prostate exam, all the things, okay? Make sure your regular annual physical, go and get your teeth cleaned and cavities filled. Go and do what's necessary to keep your full well-being up and going. All right. So you can do the pharmacy, the doctor's office. You can also go to the school nurse. Like I said, I went down to the school nurse and she took my blood pressure. Okay, and that's how I found out that my blood pressure was through the roof. And at that very moment, when I was going through whatever that was that I was going through, she actually asked me if I wanted her to call an ambulance. Okay, and I said, no, call my husband. I'm out of here. So I knew the environment that I was in. That was in the earlier years of me teaching. That was like year 3 or so, 3 or 4. I was in the early stages, right? And so typically they say educators by year 5, you see more educators leaving out of the profession by their 5th year. And so for me, by my 5th year, I knew that I just needed to change schools because it was a lot going on at that one particular school. And so, yeah, go down to your school nurse, ask them, get very comfortable with them. Say, can you just take my blood pressure? I just need to know what it is. I want to make sure I am keeping things intact. Okay, and then you can also do a blood pressure cuff at home. So I have this one here. I got this one from Walgreens. This is from Walgreens. Now, it is best that you have a cuff like this versus there is the wrist cuff, the wrist blood pressure cuff. And with that cuff, they typically say it's not the best one because let's say if you're holding your arm up like this, blood might be flowing down this way. If you're holding your arm down, it might be flowing down to your fingertips. So you want something that's a little bit at level with your heart. Okay, so you don't get a false reading. So having a cuff like this is the best one to have at home. And this one was probably about $70 or so. I think it was about $75. And I still use it. Yesterday, actually, I went to the trail. Well, not yesterday, it was this weekend. I went to the trail. Me and my husband did a brisk 7-mile walk on a hilly, it's a beautiful park. It's a beautiful park. It has many different trails. On this one part, there's a trail for horses. There's a beautiful water. There's all the things. I love this park. But we did 7 miles. And when I got home, my blood pressure, I kept standing up, and then my head would feel like a little dizzy. And so I was like, I think my blood pressure is low because after you exercise, your blood pressure goes down. So I checked my blood pressure. Luckily, I had this cuff, and sure enough, my blood pressure was a little bit low. It was like 97 over 70 something. So it was at the moment I knew I needed to eat something. I needed to eat some salt, eat something to kind of get my blood pressure up because it is possible to also have low blood pressure. And so having a cuff like that at home is really good for moments like that, to just know on average what is your blood pressure typically, so that once you go to the doctor, if you go to the doctor and they say your blood pressure is, is a little bit high or low, you can typically just go there and say, well, typically in general, my blood pressure is typically this. So maybe this is just an anomaly, or can you check my blood pressure again in 5 minutes? I'm going to sit and rest. So there's different reasons why you want to do that. Okay. So after you have checked your blood pressure and you know what your blood pressure is, I want you to come to this video and I want you to write the word done down in the comments. Okay. Because we are making sure that we are on task to being healthy educators and making sure that everything that we love to do in the education system is not going to be the very thing to take us out. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you come back, you comment the word done after you have checked your blood pressure. And now that you have learned that you are going to be checking your blood pressure this week, I want you to check out this next video to figure out what you should be doing next on your steps to becoming a healthy educator. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, okay? And share this also with someone in your network, another educator in your network who could also use this information. I'll see you in the next episode.